Sports Tonight analyst Richard Oliver joining us now. And Richard, it's been over a year since Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have started negotiations towards a long-term contract, and the franchise deadline came and went without a sound. How surprised are you that these two parties were unable to come up with a long-term deal despite over a year of negotiations?
Yeah, Jill, when you think about it, 16, 17 months of talking, everyone knew what the other side wanted. There was give and take on both sides, but they couldn't quite get there. And I think it says a lot. I mean, I think there's a real seismic impact to this. And if you really kind of want to add a bunch of X-Files stuff into it, you wonder now where the Cowboys are with Dak Prescott and what the long term is. Because you know what? Here was the focus. They had the opportunity to sign a long-term deal. It would have been advantageous for the Cowboys, especially to try to do something cap-friendly for the front end of that deal if they want to go after Jamal Adams next year or any of those players that are going to be available to them, possibly through trade or free agency. So, you look at those things, you think the Cowboys, so what does that say when they have that impetus to try to do something to try to get a long-term deal? Because also next year for the Cowboys, you look at the salary cap and what it's going to be. Revenue is going to be down for the NFL because of this pandemic and what we're going through. Revenues are not going to be what they've been over the last few years where they've gone up, 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 up. They're going to go down maybe as much as 20% for some forecasts. The Cowboys are going to owe Dak Prescott a lot of money if they keep him beyond this next season. Boy, that's going to cut into that salary cap, and it will limit what the Cowboys are able to do as far as strengthening their team. So, yeah, there's a lot of impact to this. It surprised me on one end, but the other end also is, Jill, what do they think of Dak Prescott? Is he worth, Russell Wilson money? Is he worth Patrick Mahomes money? Go down the checklist of quarterbacks who are in the top 10 in the league. Has Dak Prescott shown himself to be worth that kind of money? A lot of people say yes, but I'd sure like to see a couple more playoff wins before you give him $40 million a year.
You mentioned the potential financial consequence for the Dallas Cowboys moving forward with their franchise quarterback under no long-term deal. But do you believe the Cowboys got away or are looking at this as a win for them? And if not, why were they unable to come to a deal in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, both sides pretty stubborn on the length of the deal. That was the sticky point for everybody. And actually, it's been kind of a discussion with a lot of the quarterback deals coming up lately is the length of it. The Cowboys were willing to go longer. I mean, original reports were they were willing to go 7 years. They were willing to commit to Dak Prescott. Prescott wants 4 years. He knows that next TV deal, when it rolls around, even more money going to be available for him. So, yeah, I tell you, on both sides, I could see the situation being where both sides probably could claim victory in this thing. I mean, Dak Prescott is making, a gazillion percent more than he made over the last couple of seasons when he was on a fourth-round deal. And he's going to be making $34 million over the next 2 years, $38 million if they franchise tag him again. And the Cowboys also, even with the franchise deal over the next 2 years, would average about $34 million. That's what Jerry Jones was originally offering Dak Prescott. So he may feel like he's in. I think the intangible in this whole thing, kind of the thing that's hovering over the side, is how is Mike McCarthy going to impact? This is the guy they brought in, Mike McCarthy, and you and I have talked about this. This guy has coached some really great quarterbacks over the year. Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, go down your list of some of the guys that he's worked with, and he's done wonders with those guys. Maybe they wanted him to have a year with Dak Prescott, and for Mike McCarthy, who's on a long-term deal with the Cowboys, to say, you know what, this is my guy, or to say, I think I can get a 500 quarterback elsewhere and make him better.
The better part of a year, this has been our primary focus, and we're still not even done talking about these negotiations. We're going through this all over again. What are the chances that this is just the first step in a heated divorce between these two parties? And what are the chances that Dak Prescott after this season finds another team?
Well, the chances are very good. I mean, in fact, one of the analysts I saw last week talked about the idea that fully half of the NFL teams next year during the offseason will maybe looking for quarterbacks. If you look through the different scenarios for a lot of veteran quarterbacks in the league that may be on their last, season or two with their teams, or when you think about Dak Prescott, he's in his late 20s. I mean, he's in his prime. This is a guy that's going to be very, very much sought after if he is available one way or the other on the open market. So as far as a nasty divorce, I'm not sure. I don't, the Cowboys have a history of working these things out. I'd be surprised if they let Dak Prescott go, but also again, I would go back to the idea that they would say, you know what, this is not working for us. This is not the guy that's going to carry us to the Super Bowl level. We're going to develop somebody else. I don't see that, but I think that that's one of those things. I don't know if it'd be a nasty divorce. It'd be probably be a because Dak Prescott, as much as he said this week in USA Today, I'm happy to be a Cowboy. I'm glad to be here. Well, yeah, you're making $32 million. You're okay, but you're going to be okay in the long run if you invest in yourself and have a good season. So everyone's going to come out okay. They're going to get their way, what they want one way or the other.
Everybody's happy for the moment now
For the
that
moment.
we know for sure that Dak Prescott is playing under that franchise tag. But to your point, we'll see how that plays out in the future. Richard, thank you.
You bet.